Good morning. It's 7:03 on this Monday, February 1st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. A little snow in our lives this morning, but I'll tell you what, I've had it just fine. Wiped the snow off the car, and I was ready to go. And I hope that it's that easy for you. Well, Don Hamlet is here this morning to talk about Absolute Kubota. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is good to see you, and I hope things are going well.
Awesome.
Yeah, and little snow like this is not bad. The highway is not covered with snow.
Just wet.
Yeah, right.
Just wet.
And I don't know how much more is coming, but if it doesn't get any worse than this, it's going to be a good day.
A beautiful day.
A magnificent Monday.
Great day to come buy some Kubota equipment.
Oh, 1506 West Main is the location, and Don Hamlet has been there for how long?
It'll be 7 years, I think. 6 years. 6 years. A long time.
With Absolute Kubota. Of course,
Yes.
You did move back. 1st of November, I believe.
November 2nd.
Yeah, you got into the new place, but it's just down the road from where you were before at 1325. Now, 1506, down the road about 3/4 of a mile towards Nashville and on the left, and I think you still got just about everything, one of everything down there in your lot for display now.
We do. It's all there ready to come and take a look at it. Even got some on the inside where it's nice and warm today.
Well, this is kind of an off season, I guess, but a lot of people, if they plan ahead, are probably thinking, this might even be a good day. I don't know what else you can do today, but you can sure buy a new Kubota.
You certainly can. You can come right on inside, like I said, or you can call me on the phone. We can discuss things. We can get you fixed up.
What's any big items right now?
Everything, our construction, when we moved to the new location, we got construction equipment, which would be your Mini X's and your skid steers, those type things is what people call them. That hasn't slowed down any. I don't know if there is an off season for those pieces of equipment or not. In my opinion, it would be the perfect time to bring your equipment into the service area and just have a regular, yearly service done for that. We run into the time of year in April when me and you start wanting to cut our grasses, and then everybody wants to bring everything in at the exact same time. It's a lot simpler to bring it in now, get it done, and then when it's time to get up and cut, go out, crank your lawnmower up, or your tractor, and take care of business.
Well, that's for sure, and of course the recreational terrain vehicles, RTVs for short. It's always a good time to have one of those.
Those are always popular, because people use them in construction. They just use them on their farms. We talk about in the late fall of the year when hunting season starts, a lot of people use them for that, but there's just a lot of people that are probably getting in them right now, going out and counting new calves that have dropped over the weekend and checking fences and stuff.
They are. It's just something we almost didn't even think of 25, 30 years ago.
Well, 25 or 30 years ago, everybody was riding on four-wheelers and everything, and now you can just sit down with a steering wheel on a side-by-side and take care of the exact same needs,
And they named them right, though, although they're more that they certainly are recreational, can be, but don't have to be. They
correct.
Can be a work vehicle as well, and a lot of people they're so versatile. I guess that's the thing about it.
Oh yeah, you got to have electronic over hydraulic dump beds on them, so you can load the back of the dump bed up. There's a hitch on the back and the front. You can add winches. A lot of people will put windshields and canopies on them, kind of keep the weather off of you and everything. They're just great use little vehicles.
How many of them you have several different models? Don't you?
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking there's a 500 gas, 850 gas, and you're going to go to a 900, 1120, 1140, and then you're going to go to the 1100C, which is the cab unit, which has glass doors and windows, and you got heat and air on that one. So they can take care of you.
Just about whatever you would want, and and a pretty good price range as well.
I think. Good price range, good finance options. Those are always the driving factors for everything. Nobody wants to stroke a check when you've got 0 for 48 or 60 months or whatever the offer may be at any particular time. I know today that when I get back, as soon as I get back, I'll get my cup of coffee first, but right after that, I'll go sit down at my computer because it's a new month and see if any of the rebates or finance options or anything have changed. So.
Right. Well, Kubota, I think, is well known for extending the time of payment. I mean, if you're not on the cut, you're on the cutting edge. There might be some others that are there with you. I don't know, but you got to be a leader there.
Oh, you do. You can't just wait for another brand to come out with 0 for 84, and then all of a sudden start trying to catch up, because apparently you're probably going to have lost some sales already. So I think they always try to stay ahead and know what's going on, and offer the best deals for the customers they can.
Right, and the quality of Kubota, you don't have to worry about that either.
Great warranties. They don't really, for the customer end of it, if anything ever does go wrong, because nothing's 100% perfect. Everything's built by human beings on the face of this earth, so there's going to be a little giddy up every now and then, and our service guys are great about getting that stuff in, getting it taken care of, and getting you back out and getting you going. Because there's nothing more frustrating than having something new and being excited about it and it not being 100%. So that's our job, to make sure you're happy.
Well, you are going to be there today. You and T.R. Kirby are the ones who pretty much are in sales right now.
Yes, sir. That is correct. Lance retired at the first of the year. Ben is over there in the parts department. He's ready to answer all your questions. Very capable young man, very intelligent when it comes to parts, and he knows how to do a lot of the mechanical things that you may be coming in to get your parts for. Super guy. And then we've got Lauren over in our service department. She's ready to get your equipment checked in, get the guys to go out and do an evaluation of what might be wrong with it, and they'll get back with you and give you an update and determine, which direction you want to go, and try to get you turned around and get it back to you as quick as possible.
Well, you just got a really fine team there at Absolute Kubota, and you got one more month here. You realize daylight saving time is a month or 5 weeks away, something like that.
That's good. I like it. I wish it would stay there all the time.
Well, you'll have an extra hour at that time, but right now, I believe it's 7 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yes, sir, and 7 to 12 on Saturdays is our schedule for right now. That may change just a little bit when the time changes and the season, progresses along a little bit.
Well, I hope you have a great week, a great month, and we'll be seeing you throughout the month of February, I take it.
I should be here next Monday.
All right.
Lord willing.
We'll see you then.
Thanks, Coleman.
Don
have a good
Hamlet,
one.
he's one of the salespeople at Absolute Kubota, now at 1506 West Main here in Lebanon, Tennessee. We're 11 after the hour, and I'm going to go to the telephone. And on the phone this morning, we have State Representative Susan Lynn, who's going to give us our House of Representatives report this morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, and really just the snow of, I don't know, maybe a quarter of an inch, half inch on the windshield that came off when the wipers came on. That's not bad at all. It's, I guess, 33, 34 degrees out there this morning, but it's going well, and we're glad to hear from you. I don't blame you for calling in this morning, though. You never know. And this is.
I'm out of town. I'm out of town. I'm in actually a very tropical environment, so.
Oh,
it's,
well, good for you.
It's pretty warm and it's lovely.
Well, you want to tell us more? Well, I'm wondering where you are.
Well, no, I'm not going to say where we are, but
okay.
it is. The weather is great and it's really nice. And I'm here because the General Assembly is not in session this week.
Right.
We have the week off for reorganization. And so different things are occurring. Offices are being moved around. Committee chairmen are getting their ducks in a row. And I guess people are still, writing their legislation, writing their bills. And so all of that is occurring. And when we come back next week, one of the first things that will occur is we will have session at 5 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, we expect the governor to come in and present us his budget.
Mm-hmm. Is that part of the State of the State address, I believe? Is that what that's called?
That is. That is called the State of the State address. We can do like legislation school here this morning. But yes, that is at the State of the State address is when the governor presents his budget to the General Assembly. It's delivered to us in very large, thick books. And it's actually not even the entire budget. It's the improvements or reductions to the budget from last year's budget, where last year's budget was pretty much status quo. We did add very, very few things.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very much status quo from the prior year because of COVID. If you recall, we really passed a status quo budget. We adjourned very quickly. And then when we came back in June, things hadn't improved that much. And so we just did a couple of things that we were necessary to do. And we voted, and we all went home. And as you know, lots of our friends and family and all that got a little sick, and some of the members got sick too. We still have a member in the hospital. But that is, so it will be, perhaps he will pick up where he left off. I really thought his budget last year was going to be excellent, but COVID really got in the way. So maybe he will pick up with the theme that he had going, which is, very much trying to help people who have mental health issues or drug issues continue on with their life and recover and become employable, helping education and to improve education, and hopefully people won't fall and won't become incarcerated at some point. That's a huge goal. We know that reading scores in third grade, they kind of use those to measure how much of the population will be incarcerated in, a few years. And that's a pretty depressing thing. So, but anyway, all of the committees were laid out, and their times have been laid out, and so we know when all the committees meet, and it's all coming together.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're going to be ready to go next week, and this will be the 112th General Assembly. And tell you what, it is time for us to take a break. We come back, we might talk for a minute about the special session that ended, and then other things that you're hoping to accomplish when you get started next week. State Representative Susan Lynn is with us this morning. Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Bates Ford. Regular oil change $24.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal $16.73 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There's still some slick spots out here as traffic volume just now starts to pick up on I-40 coming up past Donaldson Pike here at the airport. It was a minor wreck 24 eastbound between Whites Creek Pike and OHB as that traffic starts to build there coming through Jolton right now. It's a bit of a delay. Actually, usually it'd already be heavy by now, but again, some folks are just now getting out and about. You never know when you might need them. Free at last bell buy, serving Davidson, Williamson, and even Rutherford counties. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The Farm Bureau Expo is your premier location for an event of any scale, making meeting in the middle easy and accessible for event planners and guests. The Expo proudly participates in the Tennessee Pledge to allow our guests to attend events with confidence. For booking details or to explore events to attend, visit farmbureauexpo.com or check out our Facebook page at Farm Bureau Expo. We look forward to seeing you at the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. State Representative Susan Lynn is on the phone this morning. Now let's talk about what you got something important here.
Sure, Coleman. I wanted to tell everyone too that right now is a great time to become accustomed and become familiar with the Tennessee General Assembly's website. We fought for years to have a lot of information on this website for the public. And it is an award-winning website. So the address is capital.tn.gov, and that's capital with an O. So capital.tn.gov. And on the Tennessee General Assembly's website, there's several features that are really great. Of course, you can find your legislator, so you can put your home address in there. And, it will tell you who your legislators are, both House and Senate. read the legislation that is filed already. And so it's under legislation, and there has to be a House version and a Senate version. They have to match, but when they pass, they might not match, and that's when we would go to a conference committee. Another feature is the My Bill section. Let's say you're interested in a particular bill. You can register your email address in the bills that you're interested in, and you will be emailed every single time there's action on those bills. And that will really help you follow along. If you're someone who likes to email, you want to email the committees and ask them to vote for the bill, everybody's address is on there. You've got all the committee members. If you want to come down, hopefully we'll be allowing people to come down. Not sure, but the rules are on there for social distancing and all of that, so you can read that and make sure that, if you spend all the time to come all the way down there, that you'd be able to get in. That would be really good. And then also I want you to know that you can watch committee meetings live. You can watch session live on this website, but you can also watch the recorded committees and session. So let's say you were unable to come down, you were unable to watch the committee meeting live. That night at home, you're going to be able to click on that meeting and watch the debate and watch what happened. So we're really proud of this website. We feel like it provides a lot of transparency for the public.
Well, no doubt, and so much more is available now than there was a few years back. We've come a long way as far as all that goes, and if anybody's really wanting to keep up with things, they don't have much excuse for not doing it, right?
They sure don't. They sure don't. That's capitol.tn.gov, and then also you'll see a lot of abbreviations and things like that you're not familiar with. Well, those abbreviations are all listed there. You can see them so that you'll understand what you're looking at, because some of those abbreviations, they're for legal reasons, and even I wasn't familiar with them at first, and nobody really is. So you can click and follow along with everything. It's really super, and I hope people will sign up. I was just writing a constituent back about a bill. It doesn't have a Senate sponsor yet. And so I explained to him, here's the link. Please sign up for my bills. And I said, it doesn't have a Senate sponsor yet, but the filing deadline isn't for a week, so he'll probably get one in that week. And just trying to give him, an idea of how to follow along.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if we could take a minute or two, how much every time you want to tell us, but just
Sure.
your impression of the special session. I know it ended over a week ago, but it was a pretty productive time, I think, and I believe the governor got at least some of what he wanted done to cope with the education needs due to the coronavirus.
Yes, yeah. I think it went really well. Sure, nobody ever gets all that they want, but I do think that we are going to make sure that children are their reading loss is remediated. They are going to get the help that they need, and that is going to happen during the school year, and then also out of the school year, they will get the help that they need, and that's really what it's all about. It's about the students and learning to read well. If you can I've said it many times, if you can read well, if you can do math, you'll be able to do just about anything in life. You never know what's going to interest you as an adult. As a kid, you might not feel too interested in much of anything, and then you fall into some career or occupation. And as long as you can read well, you can speak well, you can do math, you're going to carry yourself really far. And I am thrilled that we are concentrating on reading as we are.
All right. Now, next Monday, you've told us, by the way, are you changing offices? I take it you're not.
No, I am. I moved offices, and my office is, the speaker's very, very kind to me. My office is really a beautiful office. It has a beautiful view of the Capitol, and I hope that folks will stop in and visit me, because I will not be as busy, not being the committee chairman, not be as busy. And like I said, I wanted to concentrate more on my constituents and more on my work with Alec. And definitely, you know, we have a comfortable place to sit and talk about ideas and legislation and, you know, what is occurring. And I love to help people, like if they're there lobbying for the day on a particular, because I have constituents who come down and they will lobby on bills that they're interested in. And I always try to give them pointers and, you know, tell them how to lobby that bill and get things done. You know, tell them how to make a little one-page sheet that will tell those committee members your point of view and why you are for or against that piece of legislation, and just try to be helpful in that way. So I hope people will come down there and just mind the COVID restrictions, but come down there and come see us. I do believe that you have to make an appointment with each legislator when you're coming down, but you just call the office. If you go to capitol.tn.gov, find my phone number, call the office, and we would love to see you.
Okay, as far as legislation that you might be either opposing or signing on to, are there any particular bills that you really want to see passed this time?
Oh, boy. Yeah, those pieces of legislation are slowly being filed. You know, they're getting brushed up at their final brushing up, because as we were together, we all talked to each other about ideas that we have and things that we hope to do, and then we glean ideas from each other. You know, someone will say, that's a good idea. Did you ever think of this or that? And then we can make little tweaks to our legislation. So that is happening. I actually don't have anything filed right now. I'm making tweaks to different legislation, but I'm going to have some legislation on elections. Coleman, I do believe that we do have fair and safe elections in Tennessee. But as I said to the Secretary of State and the Attorney General last week, who I'm going to be meeting with, both of them, technology changes and attempts to thwart the process change. And so the integrity of the process. And so we have to examine, you know, what have people tried to do that would thwart the process, and how do we protect the integrity of the process? Overall, Tennessee is looked at as a really good state when it comes to elections integrity, but I want to make sure we stay that way.
What would you change or add to?
Well, for one thing, I would like to do is I'd like to add more transparency, and I think I talked about this 2 weeks ago. And there's some other things I want to. Now, we don't want to know who anybody voted for. However, as we saw in other states, people said that when they went to vote on Election Day, they were told they had already voted. Well, in reality, their vote had been cast for them. They did not cast their vote. And so how many people, registered motor voter, they just never show up and vote? Never. There's so many people, Coleman, on the rolls who register motor voter and they never vote. When we're running for election, we walk right by those doors because we know they're not going to show up this time either. And that's pretty sad. But how many of those people might have been voted for? How many in other states? How many of those people might have been someone cast their vote for them? So I think it's a very simple thing. If we just put the names of everybody who cast a vote in the election, then you can click on it if you think that's your name, and you can put in your last 4 digits of your social, your birthday, and then you can see, when did you supposedly vote? What? That would really create transparency. And then after the election is over, if one person said, hey, I didn't vote, but somebody signed an application for ballot for me and they voted for me, well, you signed an affidavit, and that's going to be an issue, and we're going to get to the bottom of that issue. That, to me, that's very, very important. Another thing that idea we have is the idea of fingerprints. As you know, if you have a mail-in ballot, your vote section is separate from your ballot. But once they're separated, people have said, well, how do you know someone hasn't taken the ballot portion and just supplanted it? Well, do we know or do we not know? If someone had to put their fingerprint on both documents, we could tell that the two documents did match if it ever came to verifying votes to that degree. If it came to verifying votes to that degree. Hopefully it never ever will, but there's no one who can simply look at a fingerprint and tell who it is. But you would be able to, if you had to, match up that ballot did belong to the person who filled out who sent in the mail-in ballot. So there's different ideas like that.
Okay, well, I appreciate your explaining that this morning, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And believe it or not, Representative Lynn, we are out of time. I appreciate you being with us this morning. You've come in loud and clear, and I guess we'll do it again in 2 weeks. So have a good 2 weeks. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. That is part one of Coleman and Company. State Representative Susan Lynn. We'll take a break here. This is FM 98.9.
And to 7:31, let's see what's happening on the roadways. And it's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota and Rental, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Lampride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, let's check in with Chuck.
Good morning. Watching traffic build on 109 right now through Wilson County, headed up towards the interstate. Traffic still moving out here despite the weather. Just to be on the safe side, give yourself extra travel time. They're finishing up an accident over in the 7500 block of OHB. That's over in Bellshower. Traffic's picked up now on 40 East up through Kingston Springs. All that traffic coming out of Dixon County. You never know when you might need them. Free at last bell binds, serving Davidson, Williamson, and even Rutherford counties. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather, but just like the weather, one moment it's sunny and the next you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help, a reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
Today it's going to get bitterly cold with temperatures only topping out in the upper 30s, so make sure to bundle up. Some snow showers and snow flurries are possible as well. Sunny skies do return on Tuesday and temperatures warm up as well. Highs on Tuesday climb into the mid-40s. By Wednesday, temperatures will be in the 50s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
The company welcomes part to a Monday morning. It's going to be a magnificent Monday, made even more magnificent with the presence of Billy Muffin. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning, Coleman.
How's that for an introduction?
I tell you what, you sure know how to build a fella up.
Well, I try sometimes.
Yeah.
But no flattery now.
It is going to be a great day, though.
Well, Billy, of course, is the general manager for Rocky Williams Premier, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road. No haggle pricing. Everybody pays the same great low price. And he's always here on a Monday to tell us about it.
We're always sitting right here, Coleman.
Now, let me see. I think you told me last week, is today the last day of the automotive month?
It is the last day of the automotive month.
It's the first day of February, right. A brand new month for us. Your brand new month starts tomorrow.
That's
Got
right.
one more day to buy in January as far as the automotive calendar goes.
That's exactly right. All of the incentives and rebates will change at midnight tonight. So some will go up, some will go down, some will go away. So we don't ever know.
You really don't know exactly?
No, I will not know till tomorrow. I have a call every month at the first day of the month with Chrysler, and we kind of know what they're going to do. But no, I do not know before anybody else does.
Well, how about that?
Yeah.
But we do know that this being the very last day of the automotive month, that your trade-in might be worth a little more today.
Might be worth just a few $100 more as we try to wrap up the month, Coleman, just as strong as we possibly can. price doesn't change as far as us deviating from our price, but if you have a trade-in, like I said, it might be worth just a little more.
Well, January been pretty good for January. Sometimes
It has.
January can be a bummer, but
We've had really good weather and I think a lot of times it depends on the weather, Coleman, as far as January. But we've had a good January. January is never going to be your biggest month of the year, but for January, it's been good.
and February only has 28. I don't know, how many days in your automotive month for February?
Well, I'll know that tomorrow also.
Well, that's okay. February, we usually think of some cold, bad weather, and it probably, I would have to look and see, but I'm guessing we probably have as much snow and bad weather in February as any other
I would
month.
say you're right,
It just
Coleman.
depends. Well, I can remember 1951, how we were out of school for about 3 weeks because of snow and ice. And
I don't
other
remember 1951, Coleman.
There's been some other times in February when it hasn't been good, but now that the weather is good, it's a good time to come and see what's available at Rocky Williams.
That's right, Coleman. And to get our great low, no haggle price that everybody qualifies for. I was over the weekend looking at a couple of our competitors' websites, Coleman. One of them plainly says in small print that their price is based on you financing. And if you don't finance or finance with their approved lender, the price can increase $1,500 to $2,000. Another website plainly said in the small print at the bottom that the price is based on using a pre-approved dealership lender, and that all rebates you may not qualify for, which is what, Coleman, we've been talking about that for a long time. That is, the sheriff's sitting right here next to me. People ought to be locked up for doing those kind of things. But it is legal. It's very legal, Coleman, because they have disclosed that
Right. In very fine print.
right on their website.
Yep.
But that is such a deceptive practice. The price that we post on our website and on our vehicle is the price that everybody in the Southeast Business Center qualifies for. And if you qualify for extra rebates because you do finance or because your credit is a certain rate, then we certainly want to give those to you and do. But you can always know that the price that we've got posted is the price that everybody pays.
All right, now, and so just to bear this out here, doesn't matter if you come in and pay cash.
Doesn't matter.
Or who you finance with.
That's right.
Even if you finance with somebody that you favor even, and works with you, that's not going to get you any lower, but the price is going to be the same.
Does not change your price,
Yeah.
Coleman.
Yeah. Well, that's
The only, like I said, there are some rebates that Chrysler puts out there for financing with certain banks, and that's what these other people are including in their price. So if you don't finance with that particular bank, or if you don't finance at all, you're going to pay more money at these other places, and so many are doing that this day and time to look a lot more competitive. And then when you get there, they make you feel like that you're crazy because you didn't know that, because it said that right on the website.
and with you, if you've got a favorable lending institution where you get a better deal or you get a rebate that you qualify for, then you would pay less. But you're never going to pay more than what your
That's right.
your
And that's-
no haggle price says.
And we're not changing our price.
Right.
It's just that
Right.
it's extra incentives or rebates from Chrysler that you're qualifying for.
Right. Well, that's a good explanation there, and even more reason to, I think, to trust the folks at Rocky Williams.
That's right.
You don't have any tricks in the bag. It's all right there, right on the table.
It's very, very transparent, Coleman. It's honest, fair way to do business, where if I buy a vehicle or Rocky Williams' children buy a vehicle, they pay exactly the same price that everybody else pays.
Well, you can see that entire inventory of new and pre-owned cars at RockyWilliams.com.
Might even see your neighbor there, Coleman.
Yes, sir. Well, you got a pretty good inventory. I know sometimes you got a few more there than others.
Yep.
You have a good week in selling, or maybe buying gets a little slow or whatever, but there's always a good inventory, sometimes a great one.
That's right. We've got a good inventory. We've got a lot of new vehicles that just came in last week, Coleman. So we do have a great selection, something for everybody.
All right. Again, it's 600 Pleasant Grove Road on the north side of Interstate 40 there in Mount Juliet, near Walmart and near the sports place, Academy Sports.
Academy Sports.
Yeah, right there, Rocky Williams. And come see the aquarium if you hadn't got any other reason to stop
Well,
by.
I had somebody come in, bought a car Saturday, Coleman. They're probably listening to us this morning. He wanted to make sure that his wife saw the aquarium because he heard us talking about it right here on your program.
Oh, great.
Many times he said, I listen to you just about every Monday.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
We're glad to hear that. All right. Again, RockyWilliams.com, the entire inventory, new and pre-owned. No haggle pricing. Everybody pays the same great low price at Rocky Williams, Premier Dodge Chrysler, Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet. Billy, see you next Monday. All right. Billy Mullinax, and that's it for Rocky Williams. We're about 20 before the hour, and Sheriff Robert Bryan joins us this morning. It's legislation time, and during our legislative session, the sheriff will be on the second half. This is February. For March, probably April, and then by May, you'll probably be back on the first. But Sheriff Robert Bryan, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well. You really look sharp this morning. You going to be in court today?
No, I've got a funeral I have to go to.
Oh.
One of our employees passed away this past week, and just ask for thoughts and prayers for their family in this time of, it's a bad situation and everything we're going on right now, and it's just sad. So,
Can you tell us who?
Sharon Rye, Miss Sharon Rye. She was a warrants clerk, administrative assistant for our warrants division for a few years, and she worked for the Lebanon Police Department for a period of time prior to coming to here. She's been with us about 7 or 8 years, and it's it's really sad. She was a great woman. She one of them ones you walk in the office and she always has a smile on her face, and as sheriff, sometimes most days you walk in and everybody wants to tell you something bad that's happened overnight or over the weekend, but it was good to see a smiling face when you walked in, and
Right.
her office was right in the back door, so I'd see her every morning. So we're going to miss her.
Well, I know you will. How's everything else going? Fairly well, considering?
Fairly well. Just, same old, dealing with the same things, we talked about last year and the year before, I'm sure. It's just, it's right now we're trying to get this jail project going, and it's getting there. I'll be glad when they break ground. When, like I said, we're not too far away right now. So,
Well, I thought I saw some extra vehicles or something in the corners I passed by yesterday.
yes, during this construction process, the east end of the parking lot will be there's a fence been put up already blocking off the eastern end of the parking lot and around back of the existing jail. And there's some construction trailers and stuff that you may have seen. So they're moving some stuff in. And as everybody knows, the county purchased the tract of land behind the jail, the Highland Heights Church property, and the construction company will be utilizing some of that property for staging and different things like that. So it's going to be a busy couple of years for us trying to maneuver.
Well, you always have to, I guess, improvise is a word to use to describe this. I mean, you have to make the changes you want to make. There's got to be some inconvenience and some you may not get to park where you used to. You may have to walk farther and all this kind of stuff. But it's kind of like when we build a highway out here, and you have to slow down and you have to maybe detour a little bit. But you know that when it gets through, it's going to be so much better. So that's what you look forward to.
And when we built our existing jail, this ain't my first rodeo, our first rodeo. So it's we had the same problems, and everybody probably needs to walk a little bit further. It wouldn't hurt them, So me too, me included. But you got to go through them growing pains, and it's just going to be. And we figured out, once people get used to the detours and stuff, it gets a little better as you go along. So we'll get through this. And
how does this affect your personnel and maybe the judges and the clerks and all the people who work in that general area up there?
Mainly, it's more about the parking lot. We had to rearrange some of the ways we drop off prisoners or police departments or the state or different ones who's bringing prisoners in. We'll have to change that. It's just some minor maneuvering to get them in the building where they need to be, because our existing booking area will probably be, it'll be gone. And we just had to find a different route into the building for them. But as far as the courts, they'll still be the same. Everything will be the same there. And as far as the sheriff's office building, everything will be the same. We will be utilizing some of the church. And I want to say something about Highland Heights Church. Their deacons and elders, they've worked well with us and during this process of buying that property and letting us use the parking lot in different areas, until they get their building built. And they're just about finished with their new building. So I just want to thank them for all they've done.
Well, as I recall, I can't remember exactly the situation, but I remember several years ago, back when I used to come and see your people for Aflac, and how many people would park over there in that parking lot. And
Right.
I think it was just kind of a permission thing that they allowed, because the county didn't own any of that then.
At the
And I
time,
think they've always been good neighbors.
They've always been good neighbors, and it's like you said, the entrance to the jail back then was on the back side of the building, and that's where you come in to see correctional officers. I remember them days, and we miss you, Coleman. We miss you.
Well, I miss too, but life goes on. Sometimes it's time to slow down. You hadn't got that far yet. Sheriff Robert Bryan is here. It's time for us to take a break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46 to see what's happening on the roadways. And it's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota and Rental. Fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. With this weather, give yourself extra time as it starts to pick up now down I-40, coming through Mount Juliet, wrapping up that two-car crash over in the 7500 block of OHB. Traffic is busy, but it's moving on Vietnam Vets coming through Hendersonville right now. Again, use caution and common sense out here this morning in this weather. Right now, teachers and students get 15% off all orders at Donut Distillery, 311 Gallatin Avenue in East Nashville. Check them out online at donutdistillery.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams from your Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to rockywilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to rockywilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
Calling all horse lovers. Do you need a new zero turn for your horse farm? Call Absolute Kubota today at 615-449-6171 and ask about their special equine discounts on Exmark mowers. Exmark picked 2-to-1 over any other brand. Step up to an Exmark at your farm or ranch today so you can get back to what you enjoy, your horses. Call 615-449-6171 or stop by and see the team at Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon. Exmark, ready to work for you.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Sheriff Robert Bryan is here. We've been able to have him every month. You know, when Sheriff Ash was there, occasionally he would come out here. We never had a regular time for him. We not only try to have you every month, we pretty much got which day for you. I think it works well for you, and it sure works well for me.
And I think I had to get my secretary to call you and remind you of today.
Well, it's just that I had written you in in this slot, but I had forgot to call, and you're on every month, but it's not written in stone. It's going to be here on the first Monday. You usually are. We may have to even put that in there. I don't know.
I think next month's on the 1st of March.
Well, I tell you what, let's just go ahead.
Let's
just
book
do
it.
this
You'll
right
book
now.
it.
Well, unless one of us needs to change, the first Monday in the month you're here. Now, during the legislative session, it's still got to be 7:30. Otherwise, you're on the first half.
I believe we can figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, we got that.
Well, what is any legislation you're concerned about this year?
There's some out there, and I actually got another meeting next week just to go over all the legislation. I didn't know if they said the filing date has come and gone yet or not, but
it's approaching.
Yeah, and
I talked to Senator Podium.
I believe that's what I heard last week.
Right away, though.
Yeah, and that's one reason why all the sheriffs are meeting probably next week, just to go over all the legislation to figure out what we need to look at, what we need to keep an eye on, different things like that.
Well, no doubt there's some that you don't think is good and you're opposed. There's some you really are for, and then there's some maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But mostly, I would think you're either for or against it.
Right, one of the two. And like it's, there's not many that we oppose every year. It's probably 5 or 6 different pieces of legislation, and we don't know this year yet. But you see some legislation come across this year may have come out last year and the year before and the year before. You continually keep an eye on them things because they can come back the following year. So it's something the sheriffs. We got a whole committee which I sit on. That we keep eye on all that stuff, and as of right now, we don't know what's all been filed. We wait till we get everything, so we.
Well, is there anything you think of that? I mean, you would just really like to, is going to be filed, or you would like to see a change that we need to do? Anything in particular?
And I heard Representative Lynn this morning, where she's at. Somewhere,
well, I don't know where
she would tell you, but
not off
I'm glad for her though. In saying that, she mentioned mental health.
Mm-hmm.
That's something all sheriffs across the state have to deal with. Mental health is a medical issue. It's not a criminal issue, and that's something. And we've heard Governor Lee, mention it several times and says he's going to address it. He's since he took office, he has taken some steps to help the sheriffs out in this county. But
probably one reason more wasn't done last year is because the COVID, and they didn't know how tax income or revenue for the
just
state
didn't know
coming in, right? So they didn't do much.
It's a lot of unknowns, but right. I really think the state really needs to look at this mental health situation that's going on in this state. We got people sitting in jail right now that's sick, and these officers. And I'm not blaming nobody. That's they're doing their job. Okay, I'm not blaming these officers across the state. They run across these disorderly and different things, public drunks and things like that. But the bottom of line of the issue is they got mental health problems, which is spurring all this other stuff, and they're bringing them to jail, and here we're stuck with them, and the county's having to pay for psychiatrists, medical providers, different things like that to house these individuals, and they would be better served in a mental health facility than sitting in jail.
Okay, so that's kind of where you're leading. That's what you would like to see, to take. You're not equipped for all of this. You can house them there and all of this, but you're not really able to help them a whole lot.
No, we've got counselors and different things that come in there, but it's nothing like they can get one-on-one. Okay.
Yeah.
And on top of that, any mental health patient that has to be transported to a facility anywhere in this county. If they show up at the hospital and have to be transported from Vanderbilt Hospital down there, who transports them? The sheriff of the county is responsible for transporting them. And we're seeing a high number of them. The numbers are skyrocketing at the number of patients we're having to haul to different areas of the state to mental health facilities from our local hospitals.
Well, not getting too detailed about that, but what would you like to see happen here? They have them housed somewhere else, have the state take care of the cost for some of this, or
back about 10, 15 years ago, the state come through and they closed down mental health facilities across the state. That did not help the problem. We lost a drastic number of mental health beds across the state in these facilities. But what that's caused is that they have nowhere to go, so they're backing up in county jails across the state. We need to figure out some way to get them beds back for one thing, and find an alternative to what we're doing now, because it's not working.
All right. Well, what do you do? I mean, are they housed, or they stay in a separate place? How do you take care of them? I mean, and if maybe they get unruly or something, I don't know. I'm just asking here.
Every inmate that comes into our facility, you have to handle each one of them differently. Okay. People's charges, past history in the jail, different things, which we call classifying inmates when they come in. That means we don't put them all together, okay? Some people just don't get along. Your mental health inmates that come in that's been arrested, they take a little higher, they're a little more higher risk than most of them, because you got to have medical for them. You got, like I said, you got to have psychological and different things for them, and counselors and medication and different things there for them that they wasn't getting on the streets. They come into us, and like I said, and you can't just house them with every prisoner. You pretty much have to keep them, separate from other inmates. So until you get, and sometimes you can get them, situated, and they're fine. But sometimes it just depends on the inmate.
Well, if something can be done about this and they could be housed somewhere else, it would take really a great burden off you and other sheriffs, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would, a whole lot. And like I said, it's all across the state. It's not just Wilson County.
Yeah. We got about 4.5 minutes left. I guess we could talk a little bit about COVID this morning, but with all the vaccination that's going on, and it seems like we're hearing there's still people dying from it, but it maybe we've turned the curve a little bit. I think I note a little more optimism maybe than I did even 10 days ago.
A year ago, we were probably sitting right here talking, somebody's got a case over in so-and-so, and it's turned in. I'm reluctant to say, the numbers look better. Okay. But it's important. Don't get a false sense of, safety there, because
we still need to be social distancing.
We still need
masks,
just like we're sitting right here at your table. We're spread out, and
we are.
And I'm gonna say it's difficult in law enforcement or public service. WEMA and us and the fire department, it's hard to keep these people from getting it. We require our employees to wear the mask. We require our inmates to wear a mask. I mean, it's inside the facility, and but there's some emergency situations where you don't have time to put on that mask. But it's and we've had several employees come down with it, and it's,
you had anybody hospitalized?
Yes.
A few.
I've had 2 employee spouses that passed away from it, and the one I mentioned earlier, Miss Sharon, and it's. But
so it is actually it's affected you.
It has
more than just getting sick.
But I just encourage people: wear your mask, do the right thing, stay social distance from each other, and that's the times that we're in. Just do it. We'll get through this, and I just don't know when. But we've got to do everything as a country, as a state, as a county, as a city, just to do what we can do.
Well, I think some regulations have been relaxed a little bit about high school sports and so on. And
but I say this, and I walk in, in these businesses, and these businesses need to, that's the ones that need to stand up and make people wear masks in their business. It's I think these kids need to sporting events. They do. These kids need school. I wholly agree with that, and it's important that everybody be responsible enough so we can get some of this stuff back going, just like these sporting events.
Yeah.
And, we'll see how it goes.
All right, in our last 2 minutes, I'm going to ask two quick questions here. Number one, your jail population. How is it? Is you really crowded, or is it thinned out a little? Or
we talk about in several talks in meetings, pre-COVID and post-COVID.
Okay.
We ain't in post-COVID yet, but we're back to the numbers prior to COVID coming around.
Okay.
We went down there for a little while after COVID started, and we're back up to them numbers, same numbers we were last year at this time.
All right, and the other thing, are you hiring now?
We are always just about taking applications. We do have a few openings in their correctional facility, and we're looking at several candidates right now for that. And but like I said, we have more of a rollover in our jail employees than we do anything else. Because we try to pull our anytime there's an opening on patrol, different things like that, we try to pull them out of the corrections.
Right.
So
yeah, well, that's really a good education, a good start there. You know what it's all about when you've worked in the jail for a while and seen the different people, and
and that's the thing, you know the people you're working with, and that's important in this line of work. You got to know the people, and
so promoting that way,
in turn, we know who we're promoting, who we're bringing in, so that helps out a whole lot.
All right, well, our time is gone, but thanks a lot, and we'll see you next month, and have a good one.
Chris Dow, good day.
Join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.